It's already running thin and it's episode 3. So what do you think?
I talk about that all the time on my podcast. Like, I don't, listen, we're going to watch this season, right? It was 3 months later. It's whatever. Where is this show next season? I don't understand where we're going to go from here. I mean, Ariana's not going to speak to him. I mean, others kind of are, but it's like, right, we can't still be talking about Scandoval next season. So what do we have here left? I don't know.
Yeah, we honestly have no idea where this show's going to go in the next couple of years. And Steele and I have theorized that Ariana is going to move on to bigger and better things. She's not going to be part of the show anymore. She's in Chicago. She's doing all these other things that she's always wanted to do aside from reality TV. And maybe there's just no real space for her to grow anymore in this show, which is fine. Go on and do bigger and better things. What does VPR do in response to that? Steele seems to think that maybe Raquel could come back next year without Ariana, and then we have to see, the Tom and Raquel scenes that are going to make us want to squirm, and then obviously the rest of the group is going to have to kind of fall in line with that. That could get them another season, but at that point, are we just doing this season by season? Like, all right, what can we do to fix this? What can we do to fix this? And it just brings us back to where we were before Scandoval, which was the show's got nothing left. There's nothing else going on. And we're going to have the Valley on in the background, and we're going to have to suffer through Jax and say, oh yeah, maybe there's a minor league system out there that we can bring these people into. Like, no, it's just not going to work that way. So I am a little scared, and I'm happy that people are coming around to the idea of, we don't know what this show is going to look like in the next couple of years. It might just run its course.
I agree. I've said both. I thought Ariana was not going to come back for this season, but I understand why she is back. I agree. I don't think she's going to come back. I think regardless of whether she comes back or not, I do think, and I've said this a lot on my show too, I think Raquel coming back is possible. I don't think it's likely, but I think it's possible. Like, she's going to have a year off. I mean, this podcast, I also don't know how, I mean, people seem to, I don't know where her podcast is going either. I mean, I know she's working in mental health and everything, but eventually she's talking a lot about Scandoval and all of this. So I don't know where that podcast is going. No shade, but I just don't know. I think a year away, I think Raquel coming back, right, that's not going to solve the problem, but I think that will put a Band-Aid on it for next season. At least I can see that, even if Ariana is there, but I don't think she will be. I totally agree with you, but I don't know where we go after that.
I don't either. And I think that's, as Shooter said, you're going to keep trying to fix it. And as you said, David, it's putting a Band-Aid on the problem. But unfortunately, if you bring Raquel back, all of us are going to watch it. Everybody that has watched Vanderpump for its entire run and everybody that jumped in just at Scandoval, you're going to tune in to see what Raquel does. And I think that, it is a bold prediction and it's not likely that she returns, but there is a door for it. And I think that with this season apparently being about learning how to forgive Tom based on what LVP is saying and everybody's response to LVP, that seems to be the direction that we're going in, at least for now. If that's the case, Tom was the bigger perpetrator here than Raquel. So if they can forgive Sandoval, then there is absolutely no reason they can't forgive Raquel. And that is a guaranteed next season, especially if this season continues to go in this direction and gets more and more stale. It's like, well, what do we do? Well, shit, bring her back. Ariana, go off, do your thing. Great, cool.
Yeah.
And then bring Raquel.
The thing about Raquel is who is there to forgive Raquel? What, are we just going to see Scheana forgive her? Like, she's not close with anybody else. That's it, though? Yeah. Like, if we're just going to have Tom, Raquel, and Scheana, like, I really don't even think, in the grand scheme of things and what we're talking about, slapping a Band-Aid on the show with Raquel coming back, I don't think that's even enough to save one season. We're going to get tired of that like 2 episodes in pretty easily.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying you'll tune in for the first episode.
For sure. The first episode, yeah.
But I think, like, okay, so it was a little producer setup, but I think Lala will somehow come around. Look, I think they'll say to Lala, you have no choice, and she doesn't really care. She just wants her paycheck. I think so. She'll say, I was a mistress. I understand, blah, blah, blah. We have Schwartz. Maybe not James, but I think a lot more people will forgive. Lisa will have a scene with her. Yes, I think we got to get over that, and we have to have some other dynamics. But yeah, maybe we'll bring someone else back. Maybe.
I think so, but like, who do you bring back if it's not Raquel? Is it Jax? You see how he does in the Valley, and then bring him back over? Do you bring Dodie back? Like, what's the move? I guess And that's kind of unfortunate that we're already having this conversation of what to do next, because I thought that they would have a better game plan than just let's keep talking about Scandoval and try to figure out how to fix this group. If it was leaning more so on the fact that everybody was working their own way through it and not having this forced conversation with LVP where it's like, you guys have to get over this and you have to do this. And they're making it difficult because they're bringing up a lot of very sensitive topics to discuss and a lot of very sensitive things to question and to analyze because of the severity of the implications. So it's an interesting route that it's taken thus far. And this is going to kind of lead us into this episode a little bit. But I guess what I would like to see, what would make me happy to see this show moving forward is let's dive into something about her. Let's get into what every individual person has been up to. DJ James Kennedy has been doing his thing. Let's go talk about that. He's been DJing around the country. He's been doing fairly well. How's he doing? Can we get more individualized where it's not so focused around Tom? Because I don't think that that is sustainable.
Yeah, like you never see James packing up, going away. We all know he's everywhere every weekend, right? We don't see that. The sandwich shop, I mean, I'm in LA now. I walked by it a few weeks ago. I mean, it looks as bad as people said it does. So, like, what really is going on with that? Let's have a little bit more LVP. I mean, like, we used to see more about what was going on in Lisa's life. I mean, I always say, like, this is the best job she's ever had. I mean, why would you ever go back to Beverly Hills Housewives? Like, you are literally on this show for like 3 minutes.
Total.
Get a big paycheck. And so it's like, let's see more about her, right? I mean, there's so much we could do with this. I think it's a mistake to not start weaning that stuff in. But they're not. I really don't think they're going to.
I think they have like a full on every season. They could just have one cast trip that goes to Lake Tahoe. I mean, that's kind of what they're doing. They've done it, 3 years in a row now? Like, I guess Havasaw was last year, but this year's Lake Tahoe. Just send them over to LVP's restaurant. Go to Nevada. Just, go to Vegas for a little while. Then you can come back. And that's pretty much all you have to do, back and forth and back and forth. But yeah, I mean, until they start to break down the individuals and what they're going through in their actual lives like they used to, we're not going to get anything. But I think that this is Bravo at the end of the day. They're going to try to get as much out of the Scandoval as possible. And this is why they picked up cameras 3 months in. And we're just going to have to endure it this season and just hope and pray that they figure something out next year.
And the ratings are good. That's the crazy
I know.
thing.
Yeah, they are.
People complain, though. I mean, I get a lot of DMs where people are not, they're like, I'm not watching anymore. Well, someone's watching because the ratings are pretty high.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I made a TikTok today about that stupid article and posted it. And I want to say 100 comments where people going, this is why I'm not watching the show anymore. And like you said, you check the ratings. It's like, did you really turn it off? Because I think that's the show.
I think that's the general progression. That's the first step, is saying I'm not going to watch it anymore. But you're still like 3 or 4 episodes before you actually stop watching. You got to start it off early.